This is David Gilmore, known as LDS Prepper, and my wife.
Howdy. Stu Gilmore, Mrs. LDS Prepper, also the backyard herbalist.
My sweetheart for 40 plus years. All right, so I'm excited for this discussion this evening, and I'm also very disappointed because I really disdain that good people have to protect their stuff from bad people. It's just like when we go to the grocery store, do you lock your car? Yeah, because there's bad people. Do you lock your house when you leave your house? Yes. Do you lock the house when you go to bed? Yes. Why? Because there's bad people. I just watched a documentary last night on a submarine, really a world-renowned inventor in Denmark, and people worked with him for 10 years, and the last thing he did was really awful. I won't even go into it. But no one suspected that he was a bad person. So we have to protect our families. Like I often say, as a husband and a wife, I'm a provider and a protector. So I've got a table full of handguns here, and I just want to kind of go through my process because I think you probably are going through the same process. However, if you have specific questions or you've come to specific solutions for you, then please comment that in the comments. So, just like the gyroplane that I purchased, the reason why I purchased the gyroplane is because it has a specific mission. And there wasn't another aircraft that really fit the mission that I wanted other than the gyroplane. And then it was a matter of which gyroplane do I buy. Same thing with firearms. Same thing with our car. When we went and bought our car, we had a specific mission in mind, and that vehicle needed to fit that mission. When we were younger and we had a house full of kids, our vehicle was different than it is today. So my mission, just so you know where I came from, is I wanted, if I was going to carry a firearm, there's two things that had to happen. I needed to be trained really well, and I needed to carry that firearm all the time, anywhere that it was legal. So I carry a firearm anywhere that it's legal, just because you never know when bad people are going to show up. I've never even shared this with my wife, but I was in Houston and I got confronted at a gas station, and there was multiple people there. So I was able to, because I was aware, I hate that I have to be in condition yellow all the time, but because I was aware, I was able to circumvent a bad situation. So I can tell you about that later if you want. Yeah. That happened several years ago, but some things there's no advantage to my wife being scared from situations that she didn't have any control over. So because I was aware, because I was trained, I was able to get home safely. So my very first firearm that I purchased was in Texas, and I did that after I took a firearms gun safety class, a concealed carry class. Now, that gave me absolutely zero education in how to manage a firearm. It just taught me the laws, and that showed them that I could hit a paper target that was ridiculously close. But what was important to me is that so I started my training right then before I even purchased a firearm, and we have spent thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours in training. My wife and myself, she's actually a better shot than I am. And if my life depended on her hitting her mark, I would be confident that she would do so. So I decided I wanted to carry a firearm that I would always carry with me. And I have seen so many people carry firearms, especially in Texas, that printed all the time. When they bent over, you could see they were carrying a firearm. And they were usually carrying it in like the 4 o'clock or 8 o'clock position. And so I decided, well, I'm going to carry one in my pocket. So the very first firearm I purchased that I don't even have here this evening is the Ruger LCP 380 caliber pocket pistol. And this is the magazine that came with it. It held 6 rounds, okay? And it held a 380 round, which is smaller. This is a 9mm round here, and the 380 round is even smaller than this. This is a self-defense round. You can tell because it's what's called hollow point. At any rate, so I carried that in my pocket for a long time. And I had it in what's called a J-hook pocket holster. So you couldn't really tell in my pocket that I was carrying a firearm because it just looked like I had something in my pocket. But it didn't have the imprint of a firearm. And you can carry it in your front pocket, your back pocket. I carried it in my strong side, my front pocket. And I practiced all the time drawing that. And that J-hook worked great. The problem is that it was a terrible gun to shoot because it was so small. It had a tremendous kickback, and it hurt to shoot. Even though I knew I needed to practice with it and get proficient with it, I went through that process and the pain because I knew I had a responsibility as a protector and a provider. So I started out with 6 rounds, and I could, of course, carry another 6 rounds as a backup in my support side pocket, which I did. So the problem was it was terrible to shoot. I didn't want to shoot it. I wasn't very accurate with it. It would take quite a while because the sights are very, very, very small because it's a pocket pistol. You don't want it to hang up on anything. And because it was my pocket, it was constantly getting lint in it and all kinds of garbage. I'm working in the garden and so forth. And I was actually concerned that it would misfire or not fire when my life or my wife's or somebody else's life depended on it. And because it was getting full of grit all the time. So as diligent as I was with cleaning it, it just became very laborious. So I ditched that. And the next firearm, which is actually my favorite, I think my wife's all-time favorite, is this FN. I forget what model this is. It's a 5.7 round. And let me show you, this is a 5.7 round here. This particular firearm, I didn't show you, but it's cleared. This is the magazine. So I went from carrying 6 rounds in the firearm to 20. And this is what we call a duty size weapon. This is actually what the Secret Service uses to protect the president and so forth. Reason why I like this, I'm left-handed, and so this has a completely ambidextrous trigger, magazine release, and so I can go right-handed or left-handed, so I have it set up left-handed. It has a exterior right-handed and left-handed safety. It has, safety. But it has a left-handed lock here, as all of them do. In order to lock it back, it's a right-handed lock, so you have to lock it back right-handed. Extremely accurate, extremely powerful. These bullets travel at a very, very high rate. And actually, my wife went, when we were in training, using this firearm, she went against a professional competition shooter, one-on-one, and beat him with this firearm. When we went to the training, the instructors thought, you brought this little teeny tiny bullet here, and it's not even going to do anything to the targets. Well, that wasn't the case at all. We were able to spend all the steel targets just like any other 9mm, 40 caliber, 45 caliber. Okay. Drawbacks is that this is a solid gun. This is an excellent duty gun. But I can't carry it concealed. It's just way too big. Love the gun, love how it handles, love the accuracy. It's got great sights, ambidextrous. It has a Picatinny rail for lights and so forth. So really like this gun, but not practical for running on a concealed carry situation. Do we want to
Can I say something about it?
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead. Come on in here.
So I was carrying the FN?
The FN. Mm-hmm.
FN in my purse. I happened to be in a handgun shop, and the guy behind the counter says, so do you carry? And I said, yes. And he says, what do you carry? And I told him, and he says, can I see it? So I reached into my purse and I pulled out the gun and he said, nobody's going to mess with you. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a serious, like they say, service pistol. 20 rounds. I really, really like having 20 rounds in here. Rats run in packs, and so that's why I wanted something that has multiple rounds. And that was my personal experience in Houston. There was multiple aggressors. So wanting to get back to something that I could conceal carry, but not collect lint, I went to, actually I found out later, but this is the firearm that 007 carries. It's a 380, what is this? A Beretta. It's a Beretta 380. Again, the smaller size round. Basically, it's the same bullet, and the bullet is a part of the round that actually goes into the air, but a smaller casing, so it has less power, less powder to force that bullet to go. But anyway, so I went to this here, and that brought me up. I'm trying to remember. I think it was maybe 6 or 8. Let me just maybe 8 rounds in here. It has the exterior safety, and I have to say I like an internal safety much better. I have, having had both internal and external safety guns, I know that in pressure, I don't always remember to remove take off the safety, and I've seen that it with so many other people that in the rush and in the stress of the moment, you may not have developed the muscle memory yet to turn off that safety, and then you hear nothing when you pull the trigger. And the loudest sound in a gunfight is click, okay, or not even a click. So this was the next migration, and this actually Sue carried this. We both carried this for quite a while, and then I just didn't feel like it was it was doing what I needed to do. In our continued search, I decided that I didn't want a 380 round. I wanted a 9mm round, and so then we went up to the Smith & Wesson, and this is the Smith & Wesson 9mm, and that took us up to 16 rounds. So dramatically, at least double what I was having in the is this a Walther? No, Beretta 380. At least double the number of rounds. Problem with this is not ambidextrous, so it's only right-handed. So us left-handers have to kind of cheat and come back here and push this release with our either trigger finger or another finger, which again slows us down. It has a really long pull and the trigger. The Ruger LCP, the very first firearm I had, terrible trigger. Oh my goodness, it took forever to hit that brake. This one here is really long also, but it's much better than the others. I mean, you can see how far I'm going. Finally, it clicks. Okay. Very small sights on it, adequate, but heavy gun. Again, this is a full-size service gun, very hard to conceal. So trying to keep that concealment in mind, because I always carry, and I carried this. I mean, I carried this, but this is a heavy gun. Then we went to the M&P Shield, 9mm Shield, and that took me from, was it 16 rounds down to 8 rounds. And when I say 8 rounds, there's always one in the magazine. In the chamber. In the chamber. Thank you. There's, yeah. I want 16 round magazine so I can have one in the magazine. Yeah. So I always carry one in the chamber. It's seconds or fractions of seconds that can make a difference. And fumbling for safety and having to if you're in a fight and you're having to bring this out and cock it and start a fight or end a fight, then you're going to have a problem. So, and anyway, so we went to the Shield. I really like the Shield. This is, I believe, an extended mag, maybe not. This is, again, not ambidextrous, which is a problem. I did finally convert to getting a laser and a light. This is a TLR-6 from Streamlight. Of course, this is kind of seems silly, but it's very, very important to be able to identify the assailant. And, a lot of these rats run at night. Actually, it was in the evening when I was confronted at the gas station. So it's important to be able to identify your target, what's behind your target, and so forth. And so that's why I added a light. And then, I'm 63. A laser just makes it a lot easier for me to, keep my eye on the target and not have to go looking at, blur the target out in my vision so I can see the front sight and the back sight. That's just a lot of work. You become proficient at it after a while. But this particular gun has a internal safety here. No, I guess it doesn't. No, it has a safety right here. Sorry. It does have a safety here. External safety. I just never use that external safety because this thing cannot go bang unless your finger is on the trigger. So no finger on the trigger, no bang. This was much more comfortable to carry concealed, and I have tried different positions. I started with the pocket, and oddly enough to me, which was really, really strange, and after a lot of research, I decided several years ago to start carrying appendix, which was like, oh man, you're going to shoot your junk off, but obviously if the trigger's not being pulled, you're safe. And that seems to be actually now where the vast majority of concealed carry people are now carrying appendix because it is so much faster, so much easier to protect your firearm, and so much less obvious that you're carrying. So anyway, so I was able to carry this, and I was carrying it all the time. I was carrying concealed appendix, and it worked really, really well. Actually, this is the gun that my wife currently carries because I progressed past this firearm. The problem with this, again, is that we're back down to only 8 rounds. And I, of course, always carry a backup magazine.
Can you open that up again?
In here?
Up here. Open that up. So somebody asked, they said, it looks like it's bent. Why is it bent?
Oh, it does look like it's bent. Actually, I think pretty much all firearms look like they're bent. Okay, this is closer here than it is there. And that's just the angle. They're actually not bent. All right, that one actually looks straight. But it's just how they built this particular one. I'm not sure. If you notice as I bring this forward, that actually drops down level. So it's just the way that they mechanically made that firearm. All right, so as I get older, my eyes get...
Can you spell the name of the gun you were holding?
Yes, so this is a Smith & Wesson M&P, so that's Michael and sign, ampersand, and P as in Papa, 9mm. With the TLR-6 laser and light on here. I'm not going to shine it in the camera, but you can see I can either keep it on, or you can toggle it on and off, or keep it on, and it also has a laser built into it. So something to consider. But this isn't what I ended up with. So my concern was a lack of number of rounds I can carry. So when red dot started becoming more proficient or more common, it's very expensive to get a firearm cut to carry a red dot. So this Sig Sauer P320, you can see here, the focus is P320. came ready cut, and I have the 6 Hour Romeo 1 red dot on here. Red dot will change your life. If you want to, in my opinion, having shot all these firearms for all these years and then transition to red dot, if you want to really flatten the curve on your learning on how to be efficient with the firearm, start with a red dot. That way you don't have to, unlearn what you've learned. I didn't learn how to fly a fixed wing plane, so I didn't have to unlearn everything to learn to fly a gyroplane. However, in my personal opinion, I would rather be able to continue to focus on my target, looking through here at a red dot and not having to take my focus off the target, kind of blur my vision to what I'm really trying to stop, just so I can keep my firearm on target. With the red dot, you constantly look at your target, and you just look through here, and there's a red dot. I can see the red dot right here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that in the camera at all. Well, there's the red dot. You can see the red dot right there. And that's what I see. You can make that bigger or smaller. You can get them in a red or green. I prefer the red. I'm red-green colorblind, but I prefer the red. It shows up better in the day. And so this was a good solution. And then I added a Valkyrie light from Olight. I really like their products. This is a very, as you can see, very compact light, and it has a great way to activate the light. You just push, it's really hard for me to show on the camera, but I can just push this right here, and it turns the light on. If I do a quick push, it stays the light on. If I hold it down and then let go, then it turns the light off. So, and I really like the way that they recharge these. It's a magnetic charger, just goes right under here and charges up. So Olight is a great manufacturer. Problem is not a lot, matter of fact, very, very few holster manufacturers will make holsters for Olights. So full size duty pistol. This has 15 rounds in it, 9mm. We have decided to standardize on 9mm, so all the firearms that we have in the house all have 9mm, and that way we're just buying a single ammo, and we're not accidentally putting a 380 round in a 9mm chamber, which can cause problems. So the Sig is the manufacturer that I always wanted to buy, but never. I just felt like, man, that's just a lot of money. And so what happened was I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars as I look at here, at other guns instead of buying the gun I should have bought to begin with. So it's kind of like a buy once, cry once situation. Buy quality. This could potentially, you're buying this to save your life, right? It's not a drive-through fast food situation here where you're just trying to get some calories and no nutrition. This is something that's very important. And so it's going to be a few $100s for a good quality handgun, but do it once and get one that you'll really like. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, Sig, in my opinion, is the high. I just like Sig. Okay, I can pick up pretty much any gun except for a Glock and be accurate with it. I don't know what it is about Glock. I know they have a different angle on the grip, but I cannot hit the broadside of a barn with the Glock, and I've just seen too many problems with Glocks. Now, all you Glock haters, I mean, you don't hate on me, okay? All you Glock lovers, don't hate on me. This is personal opinion. I'm just, put up your own video if you want to share about your Glocks. That's fine. I'm just sharing you my experience. So for strong people, weak people, young people, old people, I found that the Sig has the easiest amount of pressure to cock. I found that with the flat trigger here, that you get the same amount of pressure every time. Again, it's hard to show on the video. I like this really hard wall. I know when I come back to here, and when I start pushing further, it's going to go bang. So I can travel right here. I know I can stop here. I'm safe. But if I go any further, it goes bang. So it's a very solid wall, what we call a wall. So I know there's about 3.5 pounds pressure there that it takes before I actually it goes bang. The thing that I really liked about this is it is what they call a compact, or maybe even a subcompact. Look at the size difference in these two guns. Okay, there's a tremendous, and I can get back here, a tremendous difference in the size and the thickness of the guns. Okay, now all you guys can say, you just pointed at yourself. Well, I know these are empty. Okay, you can't shoot somebody when there's no rounds in the gun and empty magazines, and not even a magazine in here, right? So, it's completely empty. So, just trying to show you guys here. This is, by the way, the only time I don't have rounds in a firearm. Okay, it's the only time. Otherwise, I just have a paperweight. So, this is dramatically larger, heavier, bulkier, harder to conceal than this. So this is the was extremely favorite gun of mine. This is a Sig P365X XL. See if I can get this to focus. This is XL over here. It says 365, 9mm. Very high capacity. Sig was able to get 12 rounds and I think this is a subcompact gun. I could be wrong. If I am, I'm sure somebody will correct me. But 12 rounds, that is amazing. So that means I can carry 24 plus 1 with my backup mag in my waistband. And it's very concealable, very comfortable. I've worked in, countless gardens helping people. I worked I work here in the yard, in the property all the time. And I actually forget I'm even carrying this. It's so comfortable. So really like that it had 12 rounds in here. It's an awesome firearm, very little kickback, just really good quality. And I knew that I could count on this firearm to save a life if I had to. So I've been carrying this up till 2 weeks ago, and I had a red dot on it and a light. Then I actually just purchased this last week. Yeah, I think it was last week. And this just came out. This is the Sig Sauer 365. So it's the same kind of gun. This is the X Macro 365, Sig Sauer X Macro, Macro. And this is how I carry it. I've got my red dot up here, and I've got my light down here. This is an incredible, significant advancement in concealed carry firearms for self-defense. So I was carrying this Hollow Sun on this round here, on this 365 XL. And I was had a light on it also. I had a different light because this particular light doesn't fit on, well, the Streamlight TLR 7 sub with the Sig mount does fit on this gun, but you have to get a different mount for this gun because this has the Picatinny rail. I don't want to get off into the bushes. I have another video that I'm editing right now going over the different lights and which lights to use. So why do I like this? Because it is literally the same size gun with the difference that the handle is a little bit longer. You see it here? So I'm going to smooth this so you can see. What you're just barely seeing this handle a little bit longer. So I went from, oh, and by the way, this is also ambidextrous. So in other words, you can rotate the mag release from left to right or right to left. I went from the ability to carry 12 rounds to the ability to carry 17 rounds. That is impressive. And in a complete concealed carry firearm, that's very, very comfortable to carry. Now, the problem with the 365 with my hands, I have kind of between medium and large size hands. So depending on the glove manufacturer, I'll buy a medium glove or a large glove, but I don't have very big hands. But you can see how much meat is hanging past that the grip here. And even when I put the magazine in, I'm still over hanging off. And there's a lot of control that you lose by not having that much meat on the grip. So you could get an extended mag, and this will allow you to hold 15 rounds. And then I've got I got my hand on here, but in reality, my hand doesn't actually touch that because you can see that this is recessed. This goes flat here. So it didn't really give me any more control, although I'm very, very accurate with this. Just came back from Montana, where we did 2 nights of night vision training and was firing this the whole time, along with the AR-15 with night vision, infrared night vision goggles. So I'm very accurate with this, but there's a big difference between that and here. And this, I've got my all my the meat of my hand here on the firearm. It is very, very solid. It comes with a 17 round magazine, easy to carry. Now, I already had a custom holster made. Let me grab my battle belt here. And this custom holster is what I used at the night vision training, night fighter training. And I had my light on here and the laser on here, and it fit right inside of this holster here. But what's nice is that I have this holster made, but now I have a new firearm, and it still fits in the same holster. Look at that. So I didn't have to buy a new holster, even though I upgraded from an XL to an X Macro. So that was a nice change. I've got a box, as most firearm users have, of holsters. So another thing I like about this is this really opens up my palm here, so I can get my support hand on here very well. So here, you'll notice that this is a lot smaller space. It's harder for me to get my fat of my support hand on here. This particular gun comes with 3 back straps. The medium size is on it, and just with that back strap, I can fit my whole hand right on here, so I can get my support where I need it to be. But you can exchange that back strap for a medium. I mean, it already has a medium, a small or a large. I think probably get them going the same way, like this. You can see the large on my right and the small here. So you can customize the size. Really important to have a light. Bad things happen at night, and very important to have, in my opinion, laser. I don't see me ever moving off of this firearm because it's such a breakthrough in my opinion, in the advancement of self-defense weapons. It also has a compensator on here, which helps you keep the gun from coming up as much. And so you're able to shoot flatter, which means you're able to get the second and additional rounds off much faster. Not that I'm not interested in competition or split seconds or anything like that. I'm interested in being accurate, so I'm safe. I'm hitting what I'm aiming at, and bullets aren't going all over the place. So this compensator, I think having it built into it is nice. It already comes milled for a red dot, so I just took this Holosun, by the way, Holosun 507K is the model on this red dot. It's the 507K X2, which is the only one they sell right now. And it's been an absolutely rock solid red dot. It has a sleep mode, so if it doesn't notice motion for, I think, 90 seconds or so, it actually turns off, so the battery will just last a long, long, long time. Okay, that's where I've come. This is my mission-specific firearm. It is big enough, in other words, it holds enough rounds now that this is a service-size firearm. So 17 rounds here. I got another 17 rounds in my backup magazine and one in the chamber. That gives me plenty of rounds to stop a bunch of bad guys. And bad guys can wear body armor and other things to protect themselves. And so I have to be able to have enough rounds on me to get away from the danger. And so I just think this is a great solution. So I do carry appendix. I do carry it with a light. I carry it with a red dot. I carry concealed. I carry all the time because you never know, even filling up gas at a gas station, when a bad guy's going to show up. It could be at home. It could be while you're away from home. So I think, in my opinion, this is the most versatile self-defense firearm. Versatile because it's easy for young people, old people, strong people, not as strong people to be able to rack it. Of course, you only need to rack it once, right? And then and to put the round in the chamber, and then after that, it will keep firing as you're firing. So it's not a real big issue to racking it. I think having the red dot on here, let's see if I can get the red dot so you can see it. There's the red dot there. It's kind of blurry in the camera, but it's very clear in the lens. I think that's very important for quick target acquisition.
What's it called again?
This is a Sig Sauer 365X Macro. This is the latest version of that just came out from Sig Sauer. So that may not be the perfect gun to meet your mission. If you have a different mission than me, then you may have a different firearm. I think those things are important, and I could have saved a lot of money. Of course, this just came out, but if I would have just gone with a higher capacity firearm that was more compact, I would have saved a lot of money. I wouldn't have bought a full-size gun here. So a lot of learning curves here. So let me turn over to questions, see what questions you have. But if you're looking for a firearm, I really think that the Sig Sauer 365X Macro is something you should go down to a shooting range, and rent and see how that fits in your hand, see how the recoil is, because it's still a compact, subcompact gun. It has enough weight here, especially with a compensator, to shoot very flat, so you don't have to worry about as much about the recoil. The beaver tail is, I'm told, is higher up, so you get your hand is higher to the center of the bore, so you have less recoil that way. So just all around a really well-designed firearm. If you haven't bought a firearm yet, your timing is good. Ammo's coming down. Firearm prices are very reasonable now compared to where they have been in the past. And I would find where you can get some really good personal training and be very proficient and not be the only person that you can rely on. I rely on my wife to protect me as much as she relies on me to protect her. So things to consider. All right. So what questions do you have here?
What's a good option for a smaller woman? A couple of requests for that.
Okay. Yeah. So smaller woman. Sue, let's, and we're going to have, speaking of smaller woman, let's tilt this down. She's a lot shorter than I am. So what are your thoughts? I don't even think you've even handled any of the 365s that I've owned here. So you've handled the
380,
the Bursa 380 and the FN and the Shield. Okay. So what are your thoughts for a small lady?
I have not liked the smaller handguns that I have tried. We were at a can I say front sight on here?
Yeah, we were at training.
We were at training. I think I had the FN with me that time. And during a break, one of the instructors came over and said, I want you to try this gun. And he pulled out his big Beretta and he let me fire it. And it was like, it was smooth and it was powerful. And I really liked it. And it's a huge handgun. So smaller isn't necessarily better for a smaller size person.
No. By the way, that was a Beretta in 1911, and they're known for how smooth they are. But because it is a full-size service gun, it is very heavy. These are composite materials. That Beretta is a very heavy firearm, so it has very little recoil because it's the recoil is fighting the weight of the firearm. So that is a great service weapon, but you could not carry it concealed. I mean,
if you have a big enough purse, you can.
Yes. So this is not going in appendix on me, and just not happening. I can't, as much as I wanted to do it, and I tried it, I just gave it up because it just hurt so much in the appendix carry. So maybe you can talk about things that you've done, things that you've tried in carrying, although we will be talking on Wednesday more about carrying.
Holsters, there were a couple of questions about holsters.
Yeah, so let's hold the holster questions later because we're going to get into details on Wednesday, but if we have time, we'll cover those holster questions.
What do you usually recommend for women with lots of arthritis in their hands?
You want me to take that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know why some guys say that women should have a revolver. A revolver is just, in my opinion, the worst possible self-defense firearm you can have. They are extremely hard to pull the trigger. And they say, oh, they're safer. They've been delegated or relegated to women for some reason. They hold 6 rounds. It takes quite a lot, significantly longer, unless you're shooting thousands of rounds in practice, to reload than a semi-automatic pistol like this. They're significantly bulkier because they have the chamber that rotates. And so I'm answering the question by saying what I wouldn't get, and that what I wouldn't get for any woman or any man is a revolver. That's personal opinion. Okay. Again, that's what my channel is about. It's what we do here in our life. What I have and what many women have told me is that they really, really like the trigger on the Sig Sauer brand guns, and so do I. It's a very easy to trigger to pull. It's a very solid stop, like I mentioned earlier. And because the way the gun is designed, it's not a really teeny tiny gun. It doesn't have a lot of recoil. So I recommend the trigger on the Sig Sauer. I know that on this firearm, I'm not as good as a shot with this because of the trigger. Even though this is a heavier firearm than this, this is a Smith & Wesson SW9 Victor Echo. This is a full-size gun. This is a compact gun. I'm more accurate with this because of the trigger than I am with this trigger. This takes a long time for me to actually be able to, and it's mushy. I'm just, where is it? It's not, where is it? See how, that was a long travel for a firearm. So the trigger, I think, is important. One nice thing about having a red dot on a gun is that you can cock a gun like this, okay? Instead of having to grab a hold here and push it like that. But once you learn how to cock a semi-automatic handgun, it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of like you're doing this kind of scissor action, and you're pushing your left hand to your right hand, And again, you're only cocking it once unless there's a misfire or something like that. And then all the other rounds, as you shoot one round, the next one is, that casing is expelled and the next round is moved forward. And so you're really not doing a lot of cocking on the gun. When the gun runs out of rounds, it locks back. You put a new magazine in, and then you hit the release, and then this will move forward. There aren't any rounds in here, so this won't move forward right now unless I manually move it forward. And that's a safety feature. So I personally recommend for any size person, men or women, strong or weak, arthritic or not, I really like the trigger of the Sig. And you can get, there's all different models and sizes of Sig, but the trigger is what really makes the difference in the firearm.
A question of when would you plan to wear your battle belt? Can you review it?
Oh, yeah. So I would wear a battle belt if I'm actually in a battle. Here on my battle belt, I've got a complete first aid kit in here with tourniquets and blood clot gel and chest seal and so forth in here. I carry a multi-tool. I carry my handgun. I carry, just not on my chest rig, but just here on my battle belt, I carry 2 rounds for my AR-15, and then on the outside I have 2 rounds for my pistols. And so this particular belt has Velcro on the inside, and I have a belt that goes around my waist that holds my pants up, and this Velcro latches directly onto that. And this is really meant for battle, for war. It's got a D-ring on here, so if somebody has to grab me and because I've been injured or whatever, and they can just grab a hold of this D-ring and pull me into safety. I mean, this is literally for battle. So don't know when that's going to happen, but I want to have the gear and the experience with it when that does happen. So this is a dedicated battle belt. Everything on here stays on here. Never comes off. That would be like an out of the waistband holster if I didn't have it on a battle belt, and I would carry that. Actually, you can carry that anytime here in Idaho because of the carry laws here, but people get uncomfortable because they're not experienced with firearms, and so when they see someone carrying not concealed, they get concerned. So I just carry concealed all the time. And I don't want to advertise that I'm the guy with the gun. So if there's a bad guy in the store, he can see that I'm the guy with the gun. I don't want him to see that. So I'd rather not that not happen. So battle belt in a battle. Any other questions?
A question about registering firearms.
What's the question?
Do you think the feds will come after you if you register it?
Do I think the feds will come after me if I register it? Well, I have to have, these guns aren't registered. There is not a gun registry in the United States, but I have to have a background check. And when I purchased this a week ago or so, there was a background check. I filled out the form. It was on a tablet. Took me, because I read everything, so he knows that, I read everything before I put my name to it. It took me probably 3-4 minutes to read everything, fill it out. It took less than that to do the background check because I already had a concealed carry license, so I already had, kind of a standing background check. And, it was a 10-minute process because I have a concealed carry license and to fill out the paperwork. So is it possible that even without a registry, someone from a, alphabet soup agency could come beating on the door without a registry? Yes, that's possible. It's sort of like the situation, would you rather have it and need it, or not have it and need it and risk, the chance to get it taken away? So yeah, it's totally possible that someone could come from a 3-letter agency and demand my firearms. That's a possibility, and that's part of carrying a firearm and being responsible. I don't know if that will ever happen, but between now and then, if that does ever happen, we're protected.
What do you think of attorney Andrew Branca's Law of Self-Defense book and blog? And what do you think about the Sig P365 series?
I don't know who Andrew Branca's Law of Self-Defense book and blog is, so I can't comment on that. What do you think about the Sig P365 series? Well, I think a lot of it, this is a 365. XL, this is extra large. My son likes the 365. He's smaller than I am. He's smaller than you are, isn't he? Smaller than you?
Who?
Ben?
No.
He's not smaller than you?
No.
Okay. Anyway, he's got a very short torso. He likes the 365 a lot. And this is also the 365X Macro. So basically the same size firearms, but with, instead of 12 rounds, 17 rounds, 5 more rounds in the chamber. I think it's a very high quality gun. There's always, you can find opinions on both sides of the fence on a Chevy, on a Dodge, on a Sig, on a Glock. I don't like Glocks. Some people may not like Sigs. I like Sigs. I think it's the best return on my investment. I think it's the easiest gun for me to shoot. And I say easiest, in other words, it's easy to pull the trigger. It's easy to be accurate. It's easy to carry. And it's dependable. I have to have something that I can literally my life will depend on it. So I really like the Sig Sauer 365 series. Okay. Any other questions?
Sorry, I'm late. What caliber do you carry?
We carry all 9mm calibers. Right? We've standardized on the 9mm. We started with the 380 to have more of a compact size gun. But now I can have a compact size gun and carry what I would consider a full size round. So here's a Beretta 380, which is the smaller. It's a chopped down 9mm, has less powder in it. And here's the Sig. Let me hold them out here. And they're basically the same size gun. This holds 8 rounds. This holds 17. And this is full size 9mm. This is 380. So I no longer have a use for a 380. The advantages of having a 380 in being that it was a more compact gun is no longer the case with the Sig Sauer 365 series. So quality ammo is going to be name brand ammo that has a brass casing on it. I would not recommend getting any casings that are not brass. You have those for a lower cost. I've never bought brass. My son has. He does a lot more shooting than I did, so he goes through a lot more money in practice than I do. And he said they're just so dirty. They tear up the gun. It's not worth the pennies that he saves on a round. So go with a name brand, one that you recognize, and go with a brass casing, and you should be fine. You need more, in my opinion, you need more practice rounds, non-self-defense rounds. This is a self-defense round. You need more practice rounds than you need self-defense rounds because you're practicing more. This is the box with, it says 365X CA-9 comp. I guess that's probably the model number. That's the number, but the model is a Sig Sauer 365X Macro. So Sig is S-I-G, Sauer is S-A-U-E-R, so Sig Sauer. That's the brand. The model is the 365X as an X-ray. Macro, M-A-C-R-O is the firearm that I have. Again, on here is a Hollow Sun red dot. It is model number 507K2X. And then this is a Streamlight TLR TLR7 sub with the 1913 rail on it. I don't know if you can see that, if that will focus or not. 1913 rail.
Okay, why do you like that sight over a red dot? Did you just talk about that?
This sight is a red dot. I'm just explaining that I like this particular brand and then this particular model of red dot. The nice thing is that this red dot here will drop right in to the top of this gun without any machining. So basically you're going to do is you're just going to take two screws out and this plate comes off and you put the red dot right on and you screw it back on. I have a video that I just made earlier today. I'm editing that video and showing how to install that on this particular firearm. But anyway, the Hollow Sun is a really good quality product, and I like this particular size. They have different sizes, different models. It's like Ford has different cars and Chevy has different cars. This is made for a compact gun. You can see it doesn't stick out on the sides compared to, you can see here, this is the Sig Romeo 1. This sight sticks way out past the side of the gun. So that is going to make a bigger difference when you're trying to carry conceal. I carried this concealed for a while, I would say a few months, and I just realized this is too big to carry concealed. And that's when I went to the 365 XL.
What's the accuracy distance with your SIG?
The accuracy distance is as good as your training, honestly. So have I shot at 500 yards? I don't know if I've shot at 500 yards. 100 yards? Yeah, 100 yards all day long. 200 yards? Probably pretty easily. Again, that's how patient you are, how well trained you are. But the reason why you have a handgun is to get to your long gun. Okay, this is to get you out of a mess that up close and personal, get you out of danger. You're not fighting a battle with this. You want to get a long rifle, an AR-15, if you're going to be in an extended exchange. So I'm not considering that I'm going to be needing to shoot someone 200 yards away, even though the firearm and I'm capable of doing so. It's probably going to be more like 7 yards away is typical distance.
What about night vision scope?
So night vision scope, I do have a night vision scope. I have a thermal scope that goes on my rifle. And then I also have infrared monocular that goes on my battle helmet. And those go with a rifle. You would use a red dot on here instead of a night vision. So again, night vision is a complete game changer. When I was training in Montana, I was on the firing line. I was back from the firing line watching everybody in front of me shoot. We had two different teams, and they had lasers were going there. The lasers were everywhere. It was all lit up with infrared light illuminators, and it was like fighting in daylight. And I just took my monocular and I moved it up so I was not looking through my infrared, and it was pitch black. Pitch black. It's a game changer, but not for a small handgun. Now, I can use this, and I have used this in my night training, but this is a backup to the laser that I have on the rifle. So this works as a very, very well. The red dot works very, very well with night vision, and really helps for you to see much clearer at night, even when there's zero moonlight out. That it?
That's it.
Okay. Feel free to make comments if you come back and watch this video, or if you have other questions, put comments down below this video, and I'll come back. It's unfortunate that we're in a situation where there's bad people, but there's bad people. And soon I have been in many situations where due to natural disasters. We've seen, I don't know if people change or the true character comes out, but let's just say we're not.
Good people get desperate.
Yeah, good people get desperate. Morals change quickly. There's a saying that we're 9 meals away from anarchy. You know, someone misses 3 days of meals, they can get pretty desperate for themselves and for the, you know, for others in the family. So I would feel terrible if I did not take the training and take the preparation to protect my wife, and somebody had taken the time to get themselves armed to hurt my wife. I don't know that I would ever live that down. So I will do everything I can to protect her and to provide for her as a firearm to save lives. And that's everything. Everything must have gone really, really bad for me to have to pull this out. We have in our vehicles, we have a non-lethal devices, deterrents. Even though we are carrying when we're in the vehicle, we do everything we can to minimize the situation, to de-escalate the situation. If I have to pull out a firearm, everything else that I could possibly do has not worked, and it's come to the point where I may have to take a life to save a life. That was a situation with a friend of mine, and he had the training, he had the experience, and he was able to do just that, save the life of his wife and his daughter that were in mortal danger. So I'm sure he would not have been able to live with himself if he had not taken that time to get trained and to have a firearm that he could rely on. So good people need to protect good people from bad people, which are just around. All right. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for helping, honey, and help with the questions. This isn't a normal topic on this subject, on this channel, but this channel is about preparation. I believe that we need to prepare for what's coming, and self-defense with a firearm should be an important part of that preparation. Again, come back next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We'll be here with Bryce and his team, and we'll be talking holsters. We'll talk out of the waistband holsters, concealed carry holsters, custom holsters, all kinds of holsters here, and give you an idea of how you might be able to carry all the time and do so safely, and be in a situation where you may be Christmas shopping or at the gas station or whatever, and you may need to be able to de-escalate a situation and protect yourself. Thanks for being here. This is David Gilmore, known as LDS Prepper, reminding you, if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. And this is my wife, Sue.
Mrs. LDS Prepper, also known as the Backyard Herbalist.
And your little tagline is?
That little tagline,
grow your own,
make your own.
Grow your own, make your own. She doesn't do as many videos as I do. Thanks a lot. We'll see you Wednesday night.